Admiral Zexthar stood on the bridge of his massive warship, the Eternal Dominion. His red shell gleamed under the bright lights, and his forearms moved quickly as he checked the battle reports. 27 ships followed behind him, each one bigger than a city block. He had destroyed 17 different worlds in his long career as a warrior. Today felt different though. The alien admiral looked out at the stars through the big window at the front of his ship. His yellow eyes searched the darkness for enemies. The Galactic Confederation had been expanding for hundreds of years. They took over new worlds and made the people there serve them. It was simple and it worked. "Sir, we found something strange," said Lieutenant Vexmora. Her blue skin was flashing with nervous colors as she looked at her screen. "There is a ship out there, but it is all alone." Zexthar turned his big head toward her. Alone. That word made him think. In all his years fighting wars, only crazy people or criminals traveled space by themselves. The Confederation always sent at least 12 ships together for safety. One ship alone meant either the pilot was insane or very confident. "How far away is this ship?" Zexthar asked. "It is at the edge of what our sensors can see. The ship is not very big, maybe half the size of our smallest vessel." "But sir, there is something odd about it." The bridge became quiet except for the soft humming of the ship's computers. All the crew members looked at their admiral, waiting for orders. Zexthar had fought many battles, and his experience told him that something was wrong here. "Show me what you see," he commanded. The main screen lit up with a picture of space. In the distance, a small dot moved slowly toward their fleet. The ship looked different from anything in their database. It had sharp angles and a dark color that seemed to eat light. Far away from the alien fleet, Captain Jake Harrison stood, on his own bridge. The UNS Defiance was much smaller than the enemy ships, but Harrison was not worried. He had been in the Earth Navy for 23 years. His gray hair showed his age, but his green eyes were still sharp and alert. "Captain, they are trying to scan us with their sensors," reported Lieutenant Amy Collins. She was young but very good at her job. Her fingers moved quickly over her control panel. "Their technology is old and simple. We can hear everything they are doing." Harrison nodded. He had expected this. The aliens had been attacking human colonies for 6 months. They destroyed whole cities and killed millions of people. The time for talking was over when they burned New Eden to ash. "Send the signal to our fleet," Harrison said in a calm voice. Ben Carter, the communications officer, pressed several buttons on his console. His message went out to 47 other human ships that were hiding nearby. The aliens could not see them because of special technology that bent light around the ships. The human fleet had been waiting for this moment. Each ship was loaded with new weapons designed specifically to fight these aliens. Human scientists had studied the wreckage from previous battles. They learned how alien shields worked and found their weak points. Back on the Eternal Dominion, Science Officer Cret Hull was studying the readings from their sensors. His tentacles moved in worried patterns as he looked at the data. The numbers did not make sense. "Admiral, I have finished my analysis of the strange ship," Cret Hull said. His voice shook slightly. "The vessel does not match anything in our records. The energy readings are very confusing." "What do you mean confusing?" Zexthar demanded. "The power signature is too strong for such a small ship. Either their technology is much better than ours, or we are not seeing everything that is there." The alien admiral felt a cold feeling in his stomach. In 30 years of conquering worlds, he had never met a species that surprised him. All the races they fought used similar weapons and tactics: energy beams, plasma shields, and normal engines. This lone human ship was different. "Could there be more ships that we cannot detect?" asked Tactical Officer Hex Null. Cret Hull skin changed to a pale green color, which meant fear among his people. "It is possible, sir. If they have stealth technology beyond our understanding, there could be an entire fleet nearby." Zexthar dismissed this idea with a wave of his hand. No species developed advanced stealth before they developed powerful weapons. It was against the natural order of technological growth. On the Defiance, Chief Engineer Lisa Murphy entered the bridge. She had been working for 18 hours straight to prepare their special weapons. Her red hair was tied back and oil stains covered her uniform. "Captain, the reactor modifications are holding steady," she reported. "We can keep this power level for 3 more days before we need to rest the engines." "Good. What about the new ammunition?" Harrison asked. Murphy smiled. "The tungsten rods are loaded and ready. Each one has a depleted uranium core. When they hit at high speed, they will punch through alien shields like they are made of paper." Harrison had learned from the early battles with these aliens. Human energy weapons were not very effective against their shields. But solid metal, objects moving very fast, could break through their defenses. It was an old idea made new with advanced technology. The alien fleet continued moving toward the lone human ship. Admiral Zexthar felt confident again. 27 ships against one was not even a fair fight. He would capture this vessel and learn about human technology. Then the Confederation could use that knowledge to conquer Earth faster. "Sir, the human ship is changing course slightly," reported Navigator Kextall. "They are heading directly toward us now." "Foolish," Zexthar said with amusement. "They are either surrendering or planning to ram us. Either way, they will fail." "But Captain, Harrison had no intention of surrendering or ramming. He was following a carefully planned strategy that had been developed by the best military minds on Earth." The human ship moved closer to the alien fleet, looking like a small fish swimming toward a school of sharks. The distance between the two forces grew smaller with each passing hour. Neither side fired their weapons yet, but both were preparing for battle. The aliens were confident in their superior numbers. The humans were confident in their superior planning. Soon, the galaxy would learn which approach was more effective in war. 6 hours had passed since the alien fleet first detected the human ship. Admiral Zexthar paced back and forth on his bridge, his forearms clasped behind his back. The strange vessel had maintained the same speed and direction for all this time. It neither sped up nor changed course. It just kept coming toward them like it had no fear. "Status report," Zexthar commanded. "The human ship is now within medium range of our weapons," reported Weapons Officer Dexcon. "We could destroy it easily from this distance." "No," the Admiral said firmly. "I want to capture it intact. We need to study their technology before we destroy their homeworld." Lieutenant Vex Mora looked up from her sensor station with worry in her large eyes. "Sir, I am detecting some unusual energy fluctuations from their ship. The readings keep changing in ways that do not make sense." "Explain," Zexthar ordered. "Their power core seems to be cycling through different modes. Sometimes it looks like a simple fusion reactor. Other times, it shows energy patterns we have never seen before. It is as if they are hiding their true capabilities." The alien admiral felt annoyed. Every species they had conquered before was easy to understand. Their ships used predictable technology and followed normal patterns. These humans were proving to be more complex than expected. Meanwhile, on the bridge of the UNS Defiance, the atmosphere was much calmer. Captain Harrison sat in his command chair, reading reports on his personal tablet. His crew worked quietly at their stations, preparing for what was about to come. "Captain, the alien fleet has moved into a standard attack formation," observed Lieutenant Collins. 27 ships in a cone shape with their biggest vessel at the center. They are trying to surround us." "Let them," Harrison replied without looking up from his tablet. "The more spread out they are, the better for our plan." Tactical Adolfure. Chris Walker turned from his console with a question. "Sir, should we begin evasive maneuvers? They could open fire at any moment." Harrison finally looked up and smiled slightly. "Chris, those ships out there have never faced an enemy that could hide from their sensors. They think they know everything about our capabilities based on what they can see. Let them keep thinking that." Deep in the engineering section of the Defiance, Lisa Murphy was making final adjustments to their special weapons system. The magnetic rails that would launch their projectiles had been charged to maximum power. Each tungsten rod was perfectly balanced and designed to penetrate alien armor. "Murphy to bridge," she called over the communication system. "All weapon systems are ready. The stealth field generators are also functioning perfectly. The fleet is still invisible to enemy sensors." "Thank you, Lisa. Stand by for my signal." Harrison responded. The secret to human success was patience and preparation. While the aliens had been conquering worlds, human scientists had been studying every piece of alien technology they could find. They learned that alien shields were designed to stop energy weapons but were weak against solid objects. They also discovered that alien sensors could not detect ships using gravitational field manipulation. Back on the Eternal Dominion, Science Officer Krethul was growing more nervous by the hour. His analysis of the human ship showed impossible things. The vessel seemed to have more internal space than its outer dimensions allowed. The power readings suggested technology far beyond what a single ship should possess. "Admiral," Krethul said carefully, "I recommend extreme caution. This ship does not follow any known design principles. I believe we may be dealing with a civilization more advanced than we assumed." Zexthar's red eyes flashed with anger. "Impossible. We have conquered 17 star systems. We have defeated species with millions of years of history. These humans have barely left their home planet. How could they be more advanced than us?" "I do not know, sir, but the evidence is clear. This vessel should not be able to do what it is doing." The Admiral refused to accept this possibility. The Galactic Confederation was the most powerful force in the galaxy. They had superior numbers, superior ships, and superior experience. One small human vessel could not change that fact. "Prepare to send a surrender demand," Zexthar commanded. "These humans will learn to respect the might of the Confederation." Communications Specialist Nexivel activated the main transmission array. "Channel open, sir. We are connected to the human vessel." The main screen showed the interior of the human bridge. Captain Harrison stood in the center, wearing a dark blue uniform with gold stripes on the sleeves. His expression was calm and confident, showing no fear of the massive alien fleet surrounding him. "I am Admiral Zexthar of the Galactic Confederation, Third Fleet," the alien commander announced. "You are trespassing in space claimed by the Confederation. Surrender immediately, and your crew will be allowed to live as servants." Harrison listened to the translation without changing his expression. When the alien finished speaking, the human captain stepped forward slightly. "I am Captain Jake Harrison of the United Nations Starship Defiance. You have attacked our colonies and killed our people. This is your only chance to withdraw from human space and never return." Zexthar felt amused by the human's bold words. "Look around you, Captain. My fleet has 27 warships, each one larger and more powerful than your tiny vessel. You are outnumbered and outgunned. Surrender now or be destroyed." "I have looked around, Admiral," Harrison replied calmly. "I see 27 ships that are about to become space debris. You have 10 minutes to begin your retreat." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the alien bridge in stunned silence. No species had ever spoken to the Confederation with such disrespect. Most enemies begged for mercy when faced with superior numbers. "Arrogant creatures," Zexthar snarled. "They will learn the price of defying us. All ships, prepare for battle. Target their engines and weapons. I want them disabled, not destroyed." But Captain Harrison had no intention of being captured. As the alien fleet moved into attack position, he gave a simple command to his communications officer. "Ben, send the signal." "Signal sent, sir," Carter replied immediately. Throughout the void around the alien fleet, 47 human warships received their orders. Advanced stealth technology had kept them hidden, but now it was time to reveal themselves. Each ship began powering up its weapons and preparing to drop their invisibility fields. The aliens had walked into a carefully prepared trap. They thought they were hunters stalking a single prey. Soon they would learn that they were actually surrounded by a pack of predators that had been waiting patiently for the perfect moment to strike. Admiral Zexthar stood confidently on his bridge, unaware that his entire fleet was about to face the most devastating surprise attack in galactic history. The humans had spent months planning this moment, and every detail had been considered. The battle was about to begin, and only one side truly understood what was coming. The 10 minutes that Captain Harrison had given the alien fleet passed slowly. On both sides, crews prepared for battle. The aliens checked their energy weapons and raised their shields. The humans made final adjustments to their kinetic weapons and stealth systems. Admiral Zexthar stood at the center of his bridge, his confidence growing with each passing moment. The human ship had not moved from its position. It just floated there in space like it was waiting to be destroyed. Such foolishness deserved punishment. "Time is up," Zexthar announced. "All ships, begin attack formation. Fire warning shots across their bow. If they still refuse to surrender, we will disable their engines." "Sir, all vessels report ready to engage," confirmed Tactical Officer Hexnall. "Weapons are charged and shields are at maximum strength." The alien fleet began to spread out in a wide circle around the lone human ship. Each massive vessel was the size of a small city and carried enough firepower to level a planet. Their crews had conquered dozens of worlds using these same tactics. On the Defiance, Captain Harrison watched the alien movements on his tactical display. Everything was proceeding exactly as human intelligence had predicted. The aliens were following their standard attack pattern, which made them predictable targets. "Amy, what is the status of our stealth fleet?" Harrison asked quietly. "Lieutenant." Collins checked her readings carefully. "All 47 ships report ready, sir. They are in perfect position around the alien formation. The enemy has no idea we are here." "Chris, are our weapons fully charged?" Tactical Officer Walker nodded firmly. "Yes, sir. All railguns are loaded with tungsten penetrator rounds. Each shot will hit with the force of a nuclear bomb." Harrison took a deep breath. This moment would determine the future of humanity. If their plan failed, Earth would fall to the alien invasion. If it succeeded, the galaxy would learn that humans were not easy prey. "Lisa, this is it. Are you ready down there?" Chief Engineer Murphy's voice came through the communication system with excitement. "Captain, I have been waiting for this moment for 6 months. Our reactors are running at 110% capacity. These aliens are about to see what human engineering can really do." The first alien ship, a heavy cruiser called the Iron Fist, moved into firing position. Captain Koltar commanded this vessel and had destroyed 3 human colonies in previous battles. He felt confident that this engagement would be quick and easy. "Target the human ship's engine section," Koltar ordered. "Low power setting. We want to disable them, not vaporize them." "Weapons locked on target," reported his gunner. "Ready to fire on your command." Fire! The plasma beam shot across space toward the Defiance. It was a beautiful sight, like a stream of liquid lightning. The aliens expected to see the human ship's engines explode in a shower of sparks. Instead, something impossible happened. The beam struck an invisible barrier and scattered harmlessly in all directions. The human ship was protected by shields that the aliens could not even detect. "What happened?" demanded Captain Koltar. "Why did our weapons have no effect?" His science officer studied the readings with confusion. "Sir, they have some kind of defensive field that we cannot see or understand. Our plasma beam was completely neutralized." Admiral Zexthar watched the failed attack from his flagship with growing anger. "All ships, concentrate fire on the human vessel. Maximum power. Destroy them now." 27 alien warships opened fire at the same time. The space around the Defiance lit up like a small sun as hundreds of energy beams converged on the human ship. The display was magnificent and terrifying, enough firepower to crack the crust of a planet. But the human ship survived. Every shot was absorbed or deflected by invisible shields. The Defiance sat calmly in the middle of the energy storm, completely undamaged. Captain Harrison smiled as he watched the alien attack fail. "Impressive light show. Now it is our turn. Execute Operation Ghost Protocol." Lieutenant Collins pressed a single button on her console. Instantly, the space around the alien fleet shimmered like heat waves rising from hot pavement. The advanced gravitational lensing technology that had hidden the human ship suddenly shut off. 40-7 human warships materialized out of nowhere. They appeared in perfect attack formation, surrounding the alien fleet on all sides. Each ship was smaller than the alien vessels but looked deadlier, with sharp angles and weapon ports that glowed with deadly energy. The effect on the alien crews was immediate and devastating. Panic spread through their fleet like wildfire. Ships that had been confident moments before now found themselves trapped and outnumbered. "Impossible," screamed Lieutenant Vex Mora on the bridge of the Eternal Dominion. "Our sensors showed nothing. How did they hide so many ships?" Science Officer Kret Hull was frantically checking his instruments. "Admiral, they are using technology beyond our understanding. They can bend space itself to become invisible. We have never encountered anything like this." Admiral Zexthar felt real fear for the first time in decades. These humans had tricked him completely. They had made him think he was the hunter when he was actually the prey. His fleet was now surrounded by enemies with unknown capabilities. "All ships emergency maneuvers, break formation and scatter," he commanded. But it was too late. The human ships had positioned themselves perfectly to prevent any escape. The aliens were trapped in a cage of tungsten and steel. Captain Harrison's voice came over the communication channels, speaking directly to every ship in the alien fleet. "Admiral Zexthar, you wanted to see what human technology could do. Allow me to demonstrate." The UNS Retribution, commanded by Commodore Rachel Davis, fired the first shot. Her ship's main railgun launched a tungsten rod at 12% of light speed. The projectile crossed the distance to its target in less than a second. The alien heavy cruiser Sword of Justice had no time to react. The tungsten penetrator hit its shield generator and punched through it like tissue paper. The rod continued, through the ship's armor, through its hull, and out the other side. The massive vessel simply broke apart, torn in half by the kinetic impact. "Their weapons," gasped Science Officer Kret Hull. "They are not using energy at all. They are firing solid metal at incredible speeds." 3 more alien ships died in the next few seconds. The human weapons were unlike anything the Galactic Confederation had ever faced. Simple metal projectiles delivered with impossible accuracy and devastating force. "Shields are useless," reported Defensive Systems Operator Mexavol. "Our barriers cannot stop solid objects moving at these velocities." Admiral Zexthar watched his fleet being destroyed and realized the terrible truth. The humans had studied alien technology and found its weakness. They had developed weapons specifically designed to exploit that weakness. This was not a battle. It was an execution. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity was not a species to be conquered. They were predators disguised as prey, and their disguise had just been removed. The space battle turned into a massacre within minutes. Admiral Zexthar watched in horror as his mighty fleet was torn apart by weapons he did not understand. The humans fired chunks of metal instead of energy beams, and these simple projectiles cut through alien shields like knives through paper. "All ships evasive maneuvers," Zexthar commanded desperately. "Use emergency speed to escape the kill zone." But the human ships had positioned themselves perfectly. Every escape route was blocked by sleek human warships with their terrible weapons already charged and ready. The aliens were trapped in a sphere of death with nowhere to run. The heavy cruiser Eternal Glory tried to break through the human line. Captain Nextar pushed his engines beyond their safe limits, hoping to ram through the smaller human vessels. His ship accelerated toward the UNS Vigilance, commanded by Captain Steve Rodriguez. "Human vessel, move aside or be destroyed." Nextar transmitted on all frequencies. Captain Rodriguez calmly adjusted his ship's position and fired a single shot from his main railgun. The tungsten rod struck the Eternal Glory's command section with pinpoint accuracy. The alien ship's bridge exploded in a shower of sparks and debris. The massive vessel went dark and tumbled helplessly through space. "Target eliminated," Rodriguez reported to Captain Harrison. "No survivors detected." On the bridge of the Defiance, Harrison watched the destruction with professional calm. This was not cruelty or revenge. This was warfare at its most efficient level. The aliens had chosen to attack human colonies, and now they were learning the price of that decision. "Chris, target their flagship," Harrison ordered. "All forward batteries, concentrated fire." Tactical Officer Walker locked onto the Eternal Dominion with computer-guided precision. "Target acquired, sir. Firing solution calculated." Fire! 4 tungsten rods launched simultaneously from the Defiance's main weapons. They traveled at 12% of light speed, too fast for alien point defense systems to intercept. The Projectiles slammed into Admiral Zexthar's flagship like hammers from the gods. The first rod destroyed the shield generators. The second punched through the main armor belt. The third hit the engine room, causing massive internal explosions. The fourth struck the bridge section, missing Zexathar by less than 10 meters. Alarms screamed throughout the Eternal Dominion, as atmosphere rushed out through dozens of holes in the hull. Emergency lights flickered on and off as power systems failed. The pride of the Confederation fleet was dying. Hull breach on decks 5 through 15, reported Damage Control Officer Lexhun. We have lost main power to weapons and engines. Admiral Zexthar pulled himself up from the deck where the impact had thrown him. Green blood ran down his face from a cut on his forehead. Around him, his bridge crew worked frantically to keep their ship alive. "What is our status?" he demanded. "We are badly damaged but still functional," replied Lieutenant Vexmora. Her bioluminescent patches had turned pale with shock. "However, we cannot fight or flee in this condition." Through the smoke and sparks on his bridge, Zexthar could see the human ships continuing their systematic destruction of his fleet. They moved with deadly efficiency, targeting each alien vessel with carefully aimed shots that disabled or destroyed them quickly. The battlecruiser, Crimson Blade, tried to surrender by shutting down its weapons and transmitting a white flag signal. The humans ignored the surrender attempt and destroyed it anyway. There would be no prisoners taken in this fight. "Sir, 16 of our ships have been destroyed," reported communications specialist Nexavel. 8 more are too damaged to fight. Only 3 vessels remain combat effective. Zexthar felt despair creeping into his hearts. In less than 10 minutes, the most powerful fleet in Confederation history had been reduced to scrap metal and floating debris. The humans had not lost a single ship. Captain Harrison opened a communication channel to the surviving alien vessels. His image appeared on screens throughout the broken fleet, showing a calm human face that revealed no emotion. "Alien commanders, this is your final warning," Harrison announced. "You have 60 seconds to begin retreating from human space. Any ship that remains after that time will be destroyed without further notice." Commander Hexlon of the light cruiser Swift Strike was the first to respond. His ship had taken damage but could still move. "We surrender. Please do not fire. We will leave immediately." "I am not interested in your surrender," Harrison replied coldly. "I am interested in your departure. You have 50 seconds remaining." The surviving alien ships began turning away from the battle zone as quickly as their damaged systems allowed. Some vessels had lost their main engines and could only crawl away using maneuvering thrusters. Others vented atmosphere and debris as they limped toward the edge of human space. Admiral Zexthar faced the most difficult decision of his career. His flagship was badly damaged and barely able to move. His fleet was scattered and broken. His reputation as an unstoppable conqueror was in ruins. "Set course for Confederation space," he ordered quietly. "Maximum speed that our damaged engines can manage." "Sir, what about our dead?" asked Lieutenant Vexmora. "Should we not recover the survivors from the destroyed ships?" "The humans will not allow it," Zexthar replied bitterly. "Look at them. They are not warriors seeking glory or honor. They are exterminators, removing a threat with cold efficiency." As the alien survivors fled the battle zone, the human ships did not pursue them. Instead, they formed up in perfect formation around the Defiance like an honor guard. Their weapons remained powered but not aimed at the retreating aliens. Captain Harrison studied the tactical display showing the destruction they had caused. 18 alien warships destroyed completely, 6 more disabled and drifting. Only 3 vessels had escaped with minimal damage, and even those were badly shaken by what they had witnessed. "Casualties?" Harrison asked. "None reported from any human vessel," replied Lieutenant Collins. "The aliens never got through our shields." "Good. Lisa, what is the status of our stealth systems?" Chief Engineer Murphy's voice came through clearly. "All ships report full stealth capability restored, sir. We can disappear again whenever you give the order." Harrison nodded with satisfaction. The first phase of humanity's defense plan had worked perfectly. The aliens now knew that humans possessed superior technology and tactics. More importantly, They knew that humanity was willing to use that advantage without mercy. Send a message. To Earth Command, Harrison instructed. Mission accomplished. The alien invasion fleet has been neutralized with minimal human losses. Recommend we maintain defensive positions and wait for their response. As the human fleet prepared to fade back into invisibility, Admiral Zexthar's damaged flagship continued its slow retreat toward Confederation space. The alien commander stared at the battle zone through his cracked view screen, trying to understand what had just happened. These humans were not like any species the Confederation had ever encountered. They did not fight for territory or resources or glory. They fought to eliminate threats with surgical precision. They had turned warfare into a science, and their science was far more advanced than anything the galaxy had seen before. The survivors would carry word of this defeat back to their homeworld. The Galactic Confederation would have to decide whether to risk total war with humanity or accept that they had finally met their match among the stars. 3 days had passed since the destruction of the Confederation fleet. Admiral Zexthar floated in a medical pod aboard his crippled flagship, the Eternal Dominion. Machines kept him alive while his body slowly healed from the injuries he had received during the battle. The alien admiral stared at the ceiling of the medical bay, replaying the fight over and over in his mind. 27 ships had entered human space with confidence and overwhelming firepower. Only 8 damaged vessels had escaped to tell the tale. It was the worst military disaster in Confederation history. Lieutenant Vex Mora entered the medical bay carrying a communication tablet. Her bioluminescent patches were dim with exhaustion and stress. She had been working without sleep to keep their damaged ship functioning during the long journey home. Admiral, we have received a transmission from the human fleet, she reported, nervously. The message is specifically addressed to you. Zexthar felt his heart beat faster with anxiety. What did the humans want now? They had already proven their superiority in battle. Perhaps they were offering surrender terms, or maybe they were demanding tribute payments. Display the message, he ordered. The screen activated to show the interior of a human ship. Captain. Jake Harrison sat behind a desk in what appeared to be his private office. Behind him, Zexthar could see other humans working at various stations, all of them calm and professional. Admiral Zexthar, Harrison began in a conversational tone. I trust you are recovering well from your injuries. Our medical sensors monitored your vital signs during the engagement. Your species has impressive healing abilities. The casual mention of such detailed surveillance sent chills through the alien admiral's damaged body. The humans had been watching everything, even his personal medical condition during the battle. I wanted to clarify a few important points about what you experienced, Harrison continued. What you encountered was a single human patrol fleet, consisting of 48 vessels. This represents less than 1/6 of Earth's total military strength. The image on the screen changed to show a star map of local space. Dozens of systems were marked with blue indicators showing human presence. What the Confederation had assumed were scattered, defenseless colonies were revealed to be fortified worlds bristling with defensive installations. We have been monitoring your expansion for the past 2 years, Harrison explained. Every world you conquered taught us more about your tactics and technology. Every battle you fought gave us additional data about your capabilities and weaknesses. Zexthar realized with growing horror that the humans had been studying the Confederation like scientists observing laboratory animals. The colonies that had been destroyed were not just settlements. They were intelligence-gathering operations designed to learn everything possible about alien military doctrine. The attacks on our outer colonies served their purpose, Harrison said with disturbing calm. We allowed you to destroy those settlements because the information we gained was worth the sacrifice. Every plasma beam you fired, every shield frequency you used, every tactical formation you employed was recorded and analyzed. The star map changed again, this time showing the location of Earth itself. The human homeworld was surrounded by massive, orbital defense platforms, patrol fleets, and weapon satellites. It looked like a fortress designed to fight off entire invasion armies. Admiral, your Confederation has a choice to make, Harrison continued. You can withdraw from all human-claimed territory and establish a neutral zone between our civilizations, Or you can face the full military might of the United Earth Defense Force. The image shifted to show technical specifications for human weapons and ships. The tungsten penetrator rounds that had destroyed the Confederation fleet were just one type of ammunition in the human arsenal. There were also nuclear-tipped kinetic rounds, antimatter warheads, and something called planet crackers that could split worlds apart. "We are uploading the coordinates of the boundary we are establishing," Harrison said as data flowed across the screen. "Any Confederation vessel that crosses this line will be destroyed immediately without warning or negotiation. There will be no exceptions to this policy." The message paused for a moment while Harrison seemed to consider his next words carefully. When he spoke again, his voice carried the weight of absolute conviction. "I want to be very clear about something, Admiral. What you experienced was not warfare as your people understand it. This was pest control. You invaded our space and threatened our citizens. We responded by eliminating the threat with maximum efficiency and minimum effort." The final image showed a view of the battle zone where the Confederation fleet had been destroyed. Human ships moved among the wreckage, analyzing the debris and recovering useful technology. They were studying their enemy even in defeat. "We do not conquer worlds for resources or glory," Harrison concluded. "We defend our territory and our people with whatever force is necessary. If the Confederation chooses to test our resolve again, the next engagement will not end with survivors to carry word home." The transmission ended, leaving the medical bay in complete silence. Admiral Zexthar stared at the blank screen, trying to process everything he had learned. The humans were not just technologically superior. They were strategically superior, tactically superior, and psychologically superior. Lieutenant Vex Mora waited for several minutes before speaking. "Admiral, what are your orders? Should I prepare a report for High Command?" Zexthar closed his eyes and thought about the message he would have to send. How could he explain that the Confederation's greatest fleet had been destroyed by creatures they had assumed were primitive? How could he describe technology that made their own ships look like ancient relics? "Draft a priority message to the High Council," he said finally. Classification: Extreme Threat Assessment. Contents: First contact with species designation. Human has resulted in catastrophic fleet losses. Recommend immediate cessation of all expansion operations and establishment of maximum security perimeter. "What else should I include in the report?" Vex Mora asked. "Tell them that we have encountered a species that does not wage war for conquest or resources. They wage war for extinction. They study their enemies with scientific precision and then eliminate them with clinical efficiency." The lieutenant's patches flickered with confusion. "I do not understand, sir. How can warfare be scientific?" Zexthar opened his eyes and looked at her with the wisdom that only comes from terrible defeat. "Because to them, we are not worthy opponents. We are problems to be solved. They do not hate us or fear us or respect us. They simply calculate the most efficient way to remove us as a threat." As the damaged Confederation ships continued their slow journey home, Admiral Zexthar contemplated the future of his civilization. The galaxy was vast and had room for many species, but space was apparently not large enough for both humans and the Confederation to expand freely. His people would have to choose between coexistence and extinction. Given what he had witnessed, Zexthar hoped the High Council would choose wisely. The alternative was too terrible to imagine. The humans had sent their message with devastating clarity. The Galactic Confederation's age of easy conquest was over. A new power had risen among the stars, and it would not be conquered or intimidated or negotiated with. Humanity had announced its presence to the galaxy, and the galaxy would never be the same.